And further protests being forcibly dispersed by police in Bahrain's capital during the Shia population's long struggle for equal rights in the kingdom. Live to London now, and the thoughts of geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen. Patrick, good to see you here on RT. Violent protests in Bahrain often fall off of the West's radar, and we've been seeing a lot of that. What needs to happen for them to take notice like they have in other countries?
The problem is there's been a kind of a mainstream media blackout in the West regarding the situation in Bahrain. Already we've seen CNN's award-winning journalist, Amber Lyons. Her stories were blocked by CNN. So what you have there is a network, international network, that's controlled by Washington. So it's totally illegitimate as a media source. But that's one of the reasons why this has gone under the radar. The reason Washington has this policy with regards to Bahrain is because Bahrain is a key piece on the chessboard. Obviously, they're positioning themselves with the conflict with Iran in 2013, and the naval Fifth Fleet of the United States is stationed in Bahrain. So that's why this policy of heavy-handedness has been imposed on the people of Bahrain.
Patrick, what makes this situation, this scenario, so different from the West, for example, backing regime changes in other countries throughout the Arab Spring?
Well, like I said, all the policy, United States policy, with the sort of petrodollar coming from places like Oman, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. The policy is to always back a minority ruler ruling over a majority. In the case of Bahrain, the Shia population is a majority there, and they're ruled over by a kind of brutal minority extremist Sunni royal family. But the U.S. will not tolerate any sort of democratic or reform uprising in Bahrain, because they need a hardcore dictatorship in place, because obviously the amount of military assets that they've got in that country, and they're relying on the Bahraini royal family to support them in Israel in their sort of isolation and positioning to potentially attack or at least minimize the influence of Iran in the region.
Now, here at RT, and I know that you yourself have been following this as well, violent protests in Bahrain have been going on for much of the year. Where do you think it's all heading, and can it actually end?
Well, this is what I would call, and I've spoke about this in previous analysis, this is the Shia problem with Bahrain, because Iran, when you look at attacking Iran or coming into some sort of conflict with Iran, a Shia country, you have Shia pockets in Bahrain, Iraq, significantly in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, even parts of Saudi Arabia. So these will flare up if there's any sort of preemptive strike in the next year or two against Iran, and they will not be able to contain it. If there's a sort of all-out war in the region, what you'll see is these minority petro-monarchies imposing kind of and rounding up Shiites who are protesting. They might even put them into concentration camps, for all I know. I mean, that's the sort of situation you'd look at, because they can't handle that on a multi-regional scale. This would be popping up all over the place. They need Iraq and Bahrain and these countries to be absolutely stable for them to isolate Iran. The Shiite population wanting democratic reform or human rights reform or anything like that is a massive problem for people like Hillary Clinton, William Hague, and Washington, D.C., Barack Obama. They can't tolerate any sort of Arab Spring in a country like Bahrain.
All right, live from London with his thoughts on breaking news coming out of Bahrain, geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Karen.